One of the reasons most people stop the pursuit of their goals is the absence of motivation. In tonight's recording, I'll give you something, I'll share with you a key that is going to keep you eternally motivated. This is not some gibberish, this is not a hook, this is not to keep you at the end of this video, but to share with you a key that takes you from point A to point C. Even after achieving the set goal, you set another one and it works. When your results becomes consistent, is a proof of mastery, not luck. This key is something that can also be transferable from father to child. So once you're successful in building that massive empire, you not only transfer wealth, you not only transfer inheritance, you also transfer your beliefs. I'll say this for a fact. None of my child is getting what I put effort in amassing. The only thing you're going to get is my belief systems and good parenting. That's all. If this belief, if this mindset brought the results you now enjoy, it can also do the same for you. I see mindset as programming, mindset as software, and I've given this analogy countless times. If you click the power button on your phone, it will turn on. Regardless of who hits that button, a child, a pagan, a Christian, mindset doesn't answer to individuals. Mindset answers to anyone who engages in that programming. There was a study, one of the best study I have ever read. He said welfare recipients trace back to 3 to 4 generations. So what this means is, in fact, analyzing that concept, I used to believe is as a consequence of lack of inheritance or lack of material things or lack of exposure. How wrong was I? Is as a result of wrong mindsets, wrong programming. Majority of these children were taught rich people are evil. In order to get wealth, you have to do some cutthroat shit. You have to throw someone under the bus. As a lady, in order to attain wealth, you have to slip your way up the corporate ladder, literally. In order to get wealth, you have to market your sexuality. As a man, in order to become wealthy, you have to downplay your integrity. You have to do something bad in order to attain success. And as a man thinketh, so it is. Do you believe we are honest people? Of course we do. Do we have money? No. That means, by that logic, every single person who has money isn't honest. You might try as much as possible to pretend this is not the mindset behind your poverty. But mindset, as I initially stated with that wonderful analogy, you don't answer to person, people, race. As long as you sustain that negative programming, it would always answer, it would always produce the results, desired or otherwise. Another insidious thing about mindset is you don't necessarily have to verbalize the mindset. Once it is sustained and believed, it will produce the result with exact precision. So if you embody the mindset of the welfare recipients, you notice something very interesting. You accept defeat. You become a defeated individual. You try as much as possible not to veer towards courses. It will tell in your choice of study, in the kind of things you gravitate towards. You would never go towards a direction that has endless opportunity. About to go to college. Check. About to go to college. The kind of courses you would embody is most likely social science or those courses that have little to no exponential financial resources. Do you understand? For instance, if you become an engineer, learn how to code, the chances of you not only building your own products, but say you were lazy and you work with Amazon as a junior developer, maybe 100K, 150 grand annually. It's something relative to your situation. Do you understand? So you would never undertake opportunities. You would never go the direction where opportunities are. Mindset controls action. Action produces result. Result determines the ultimate quality of your life. So when you're trying to change your life, what do you really change? Exactly. Mindsets are very important. But the real component behind your lack of motivation is using the wrong metrics to measure progress. Why do people stop the pursuit of their goal? It's not working, right? Why do people stop? Because it's not working. How do you know something is working or not? Through measurements. That's what I mean by metrics. You use the wrong measurements to track progress. Nothing is good or bad except thinking makes it so, according to Da Vinci. And my own concept, my philosophy about life. Nothing is good or bad. It all depends on where you're standing. For instance, Africa is corrupt. Africa has bad government. A lot of people are dying, insecurity, etc. But I guarantee you, there are a group of individuals whom this government is profiting. Aliko Dangote, one of the richest man in Africa, not one of the richest man in Africa, his net worth more than doubled in this new government regime. Am I saying he's partaking in the insurgency or corruption? No. The point I'm trying to highlight is that in chaos, there is opportunity. And no matter how debilitating the situation, there's always someone profiting from that event. If you profit from an event, does it still make it bad? Exactly. The choice you have to make for yourself. So nothing is good or bad except thinking makes it so. Now back to the initial concept of this discourse. When I first started out to make my first million, I wanted to use the route. I wanted to route it through the stock market and other activities that requires intellect and brain power. The deadline was December. So January, motivated as hell, studying concepts, analyzing charts, pattern, and all of the esoteric activities concerned. But something happened at the end of December. I looked at my checking account and I was in debt. Not only did I not hit the $1 million mark, I was in debt as a consequence of the rigorous study. I had to go into debt to study some kind of material or to pay to get access to the internet. Yeah, it's something most of my foreign friends will not understand. But in Nigeria, there's no such thing as unlimited access to the internet on a monthly basis. You can purchase that kind of plan, but terms and conditions apply. It was enough evidence for me to quit because the metric for that goal was finances, and I had zero physical commodity to compensate for the parties missed, the women declined, the audacious statement. Check me out in 2 to 3 years, you see where I am. And after every single thing, you see people who went through the route of internet scams, of fraudulent means, and because you decided to be integrous and you refuse to bow down, you are forced to shuffle your head while they ride in their Mercedes. I thought you said you're still here. Why are you still walking? Where is your Mercedes? Where is your Lambo? I don't see you driving XYZ. What do you say in that kind of situation? It is evident or this was the exact situation majority of people would give up. But if had you given up the next year, which I hit the goal, you wouldn't have attained that result. Now, how does this connect to our point? I noticed something. Yes, I did not achieve the physical goal, but I became a better person. The level of intellect, the wisdom dispensed, the amount of experiences accumulated throughout that journey. I'll tell you this for a fact. There was a time I would see people do amazing things. I would foolishly believe or I would get angry, but until I understood this concept that life, wealth, success is not a zero sum game. Your success doesn't cancel my ability to attain success. That is a loser's mindset, is a wealth recipient's mindset. Because someone else is wealthy doesn't discredit your ability to attain success. You see this in the music industry. There are tons of musicians who have arisen throughout the years. They are still upcoming. An upcoming artist can see his contemporary getting thousands and millions of streams, feeling envy and rigged with hate. Dear musician, him getting a million streams doesn't cancel your ability to attain that result. That's one. And number two, something else I understood is sometimes the goal is not the destination, the goal is the process. I'll say that again. Sometimes the goal is not the destination, the goal is the process. By that process I submitted into, I've learned how to become a leader, learn how to manage people, deal with stress, be motivated, go to work even when you don't feel like it. My friend, there are a lot of people on the internet who give out bullshit advice. Everybody wants to be a guru, but confronted with the reality pertinent to that advice, you're not going to hold this for very long. I can tell you from experience that confronted with the problem pertinent to your advice, you won't hold this for very long. As a man thinketh, so he is. What happens when your desire hasn't materialized for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and every single ounce of effort you gave into that venture collapses? What happens? You still going to hold that belief? What do you tell your followers? What happens when you are like Elon, mobilizes your first team? We are going to go to Mars. We are going to go to Mars. The first rocket blows up in your face. Do you know how low spirits will be? You mobilize the second team, inspire, advise. It's possible. Let's do it again. It blows up. The third time, your investors are panicking, and every single person who believed in you having second thoughts. And it's obvious, guys, let's try it one more time. Let's do it one more time. It's possible. And everybody's hyped up. It blows up again. Take into account that for every explosion is $50 million and $100 million accounting for marginal expenses. So you have spent $300 million on space travel. Not only are you going to be in the middle of an implosion, but your friends, the jest, the laughter you would get from external bodies is enough to put you down. At the infancy of SpaceX, Neil Armstrong and heroes of Elon told him it's impossible, it's a feat he should give up on. Imagine people you believed in having such remark about your endeavor. Can you still stand? Can you still stand? You get a comment saying you're stupid online, you cry your eyes out, whereas the people you look up to said it's impossible. Can you still stand? success is a very dangerous game. Very dangerous game. Nobody believed in us when we were starting. But inshallah, I truly believe with the depth of my heart that it's possible. I'd rather die than to not be a success. There was a point in my life when I didn't have access to the internet, and there's something they call midnight browsing. You take advantage of data bundles at a very subsidized rate. Maybe you're paying 10%. The catch, it can only be used in the midnight. So you have to stay awake by 12 a.m. in order to take advantage of this plan. On this particular day, it was raining as hell. The rain was too much. As a consequence, very low network coverage. I had to step outside under a palm tree while it was raining to upload one of these videos. And while it was raining, I kept saying in my heart, it's impossible. I'd rather die than for this not to work. That's the kind of person I am. It's possible. So whatever it is you're going through, I want you to truly believe in yourself that it's possible. It can happen for you and you'll be fine. As always, my friends, a pleasure speaking to you. See you in the next one.